Welcome to From the Tailgate, where we talk sports and music. All the while we sit up on the tailgate with the grill fired up and a cold adult snack in our hand. You know what I'm talking about. We are psyched for you to join us, so drop your tailgate and listen in as we bring in some great guests from the world of football, music, and pitmasters, helping your grill game, and local brewers guiding us to the best local craft beers. All right, let's get to the show.
Okay, welcome to another episode of From the Tailgate. I'm joined today, it's me, Cliff, the commish, as y'all know. I'm joined today by Shasta. If you were listening last week, she's also got the nickname of Root Beer, but you can't find her on social media with Root Beer. So if you want to look her up and see what she's got to say about sports, Patriots Honey would be the way to look her up. Is that right, Shasta?
That's right.
Awesome. So check her out. She's tagged in all of our stuff, so you'll see her anyway. And after a week off, my man Joe is back to talk beer. We've officially just labeled him the beer guy, because what better name to have than the beer guy?
Glad to be here.
Thanks for coming in. So we're going to get right into it. Patriots football is percolating, but tomorrow is opening day for the Red Sox. So we've got to at least pay homage to that. I've been seeing all these things all day about blah, 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 opening day, blah, 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 baseball's back. I'm sorry, a Yankees game on Thursday night does not count for me when the Red Sox are. So tomorrow, people, is opening day for Major League Baseball. And then we can say, let's go. Until then, it's just a preseason noisemaker. Summer camp, as they're calling it. And then we've got basketball. Celtics, I guess now they're getting ready for their first scrimmages, which will be 10 minutes quarters instead of 12-minute quarters, just to help these guys move on down the path. Now, the interesting thing I want to get into, and Shasta, I want to know if you've had any thoughts on this at all, is this is kind of a cool test grounds for what's going to go on with the NFL. NFL's got 80 players coming into camp instead of 90. I think we talked about that last week. But they're not going to be in a bubble. They're going to be out and playing. So I think there's going to be a lot of things learned one way or another with what goes on with basketball and baseball in the next month. What do you think?
Well, I think they're definitely I think that football and baseball are definitely in a better situation indoors, and everybody breathing everything that's being spit out or sweat out or yelled out. It's just a different environment altogether. So we almost have the better situation.
Now, did Dr. Fauci call you up and say that, or was that something you came up with on your own?
Excuse me, I might have a little bit of an MD, but I don't want to talk about that. It's a secret.
Oh, okay. So you're a secret MD. I didn't know.
I don't know. I just feel like we're definitely in a better situation having the outdoor sports, just with the fresh air and a little more spread out. Yes.
I since you've now said that you're a part-time MD, like Doogie Howser or something, and I'm dating. I don't get this. I'm to a point where that's all I know what to say is I don't get it. How come none of the people who are working in grocery stores, et cetera, not getting sick? Why isn't there like this insane amount of people? I'm so beyond understanding all this, and I promised I wasn't going to go down this road this week. But damn it, somebody tell me what's going on.
It's political. I promise you, come November, all of a sudden it's going to be a miraculous haze that heals everybody.
November 4th, right?
Yeah. It's got to be. It's crazy.
I can't explain it. I cannot wrap my brain around it.
Not that it's not a real thing. Obviously, it's a real thing, but I just don't think it's as explosive as the media is putting out there, you know?
Well, when the killer hornets didn't work, we had to go a different road.
Definitely. That wasn't a good distraction.
Yeah, it just didn't last. But no. Now I'm going to say this, and then we're going to put this away because I'm tired of talking about it. and I want folks to be able to tune in and be happy for an hour instead of thinking about this stuff. But if football doesn't happen,
We riot.
all hell is going to break loose.
Yeah,
I'm telling
Agreed.
you, it will be awful.
I agree.
There's only one thing that will make it worse, and that's if the Congress and president don't come together on this whole stimulus thing for people who are unemployed. If that $600 goes away and people go back down to having to go find a job and there are no jobs.
God forbid.
Exactly. All hell is going to break loose. So strap it on. It's going to be an interesting few weeks for sure. Let's get back to the rumor mill. And we're going to use the word rumor mill today with big quotations. I'm standing up, Joel, verify me, and I'm putting quotes around this because nothing we heard was from any substantial source. But my friend, Root Beer, Shasta, Patriots Honey, brought to my attention what?
There's just a lot of gossip around Instagram today about Devontae Freeman possibly being a target for our team.
And I did not see that. And then I sat here and you and I talked before we came on the air. And what do we do with him?
Well, we don't really have a whole lot of room, but I wouldn't kick him out of the bed, so to speak.
Okay, we'll leave that one alone.
But he does have buddies on our team. I mean, it's not too far-fetched.
No, I don't think it is. And in discussing it, I think that, as always, trust in the hoodie. So if there is some reality to this thing, it means something's going on that 53-man roster that we don't know about.
I would agree.
So,
and we have a little bit of money to spend, and nothing is impossible. I mean, nobody ever thought we'd get Cam at the price we got him at, and here we are.
Nobody thought we'd have $7 million.
No,
to spend. We had like 2 cupcakes and a bag of teas 2 weeks ago before they fixed all this crap with Hernandez and our other buddy.
AB.
Yes, our other buddy. I don't like saying that man's name.
Who, by the way, has unretired again within 57 seconds of his retirement.
He is irrelevant to me. We paid that man $9 million to play one game. I don't want nothing to do with AB. AB, see the door.
We were never going to get to keep him anyway.
No.
They were never going to let us have him, ever.
Nope. And now to add to it, although completely different, I still kind of feel the same way about Cam Newton.
I know, I'm not going to lie. I'm a little nervous. I'm a little nervous about something coming out of the woodwork.
Well, what I'm nervous about is he's going to have a great year, and then the year's going to be over, and we're going to do what the Patriots do, wherever that ends. And Cam's going to want bags of money, bags and bags, and he's going to get it. And we all
What
know.
if we give him the benefit of the doubt, and let's just say that Cam has already, put in his time out there, and now he just wants the rings. So he could maybe be like Brady and take the pay cuts to get the rings. I mean, he doesn't have a lot of time left, so I guess you could go either way. Is the money important or is the ring important?
Well, here's the thing, and I agree with what you just said, but my problem as a big washed-up dumb football player who knows what it's like to not be wanted, he was in Carolina for 9 years, right?
Yeah.
And they sent him a text saying, thanks, but no thanks.
Which was some bullshit.
Yeah. I think Cam's going to look out for Cam.
Well, he deserves to get paid for sure.
Right. But I just don't I love Patrick Mahomes, but I just think $35 bazillion over that amount of time is going to blow up in their faces. They might,
absolutely. And that boy is not worth $500 million. Let's just be serious.
well, he might be, but listen, Brady is an anomaly. the quarterbacks are not going to last as long as he's lasted. And in order for all that money to make sense with Patrick, he's got to play 8, 9, 10 years. Can you imagine the cap hit that's going to cause?
Well, maybe they found some witch that told him that he would play forever, and they offered him all that money because she saw the future.
So what you're saying is Reed sold his soul to Tommy Bahama shirts and a witch.
Something like that. Somebody must know something to come up with that number.
Because dude's never been out of a Tommy Bahama shirt, so he's in love with them and they're in love with him. So
Absolutely.
the witch just is added to the equation.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. Right. So back to our point, back to what matters, and that's New England. It's going to be interesting to see how everything transpires, no doubt. And we talked a little bit about it last week, so we don't need to go into it again here. I am getting the sense, and I think you may have seen me tweet about it today. I'm definitely getting the sense, though, that through the magic that is Boston, this has become Julian Edelman's town.
I would agree.
I mean, he is as Boston as it gets. You're not big enough. You're not this. You're not that. You're a quarterback. Disrespected every year, whether it's the Madden scores, which I'm beyond understanding why that's important to these guys, but it is, or it's their ranking. I saw he wasn't even the top 15, I think, this week as ranked by a reasonable source, Pro Football or one of those two deals, ESPN. I was blown away by that. Here, this guy just wins big games, makes miraculous catches, and gets open nonstop. And then I saw him and Cam throwing balls. And I got to tell you, I got excited.
Absolutely. And here's the question, though. Do you think that Julian would be even half the player he is if he wasn't getting all this help by way of shit talkers? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like everybody's saying, no, he's too small, you can't do it, just pushes him. It's just like Brady. Everybody's saying, all the things about Brady over the years. I feel like certain people thrive on that, and it makes them the player they are. If he didn't have that, I don't know that Julian would be the player that he is.
I can tell you.
His dad treated him the same way.
No doubt. I've read all that stuff. I can tell you this 100%. There's nothing better. I don't care whether it's business, your podcast show, football, the beer business, grilling, whatever the case may be. The more people who tell you can't get something done, if you're that guy that Julian Edelman is, you're going to prove them wrong.
Yeah.
I think Belichick's been manufacturing shit for years to make it worse than it is. I mean, how could Brady feel disrespected at this point? Everybody calls him the GOAT, et cetera, and he's still got a chip on his shoulder.
Well, that's because every year it starts with, there's no way that he could get another ring. There's no way he can get those numbers. And then he's like, well, watch me.
There's no way you're going to play till you're 45.
I know.
I can't get it. I can't wrap my brain around those rubber band things, though. The TB12 workout, I don't get it. It works for him, obviously. And I got the information. I got the book on it, which was ridiculous. Oh, yeah. It's ridiculously expensive. But as soon as I read no coffee, that was it.
I'm out.
I did like that Seinfeld episode. I'm out.
Oh my gosh.
I cannot live without coffee. It just is too important.
I can't either. And I'm in Seattle. I need it. It's everywhere on every corner.
Listen, we're in Boston. There's a Dunkin' Donuts on every corner. No exaggeration. I could throw a rock probably right now and hit 2 of them.
Same here.
It's
Starbucks, which is the worst coffee ever.
And while we're on that subject, I hate Starbucks. I hate their coffee. It tastes burnt. to me.
It does taste burnt. Oh my God, everybody calls me crazy. It tastes burnt.
Nope, you're 100% correct. And when our troops overseas asked for Starbucks to send them some coffee while they were out there on deployments, they turned it down because they didn't believe in what was going on there. I will not walk into a Starbucks unless it's to sneak into their bathroom. I'm out.
Is that true? I never heard that. That's awful.
No, that's a fact. That's research, documented, et cetera, et cetera. They can keep their burnt coffee. Once in a while, I'll sneak in there for some internet when I can't find it. But that's it. And
dang, that's some BS right there.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Okay, so we're excited for football. We still don't have all the answers. We'd love to have all the answers. We don't have them. As it relates to us and tailgating, you're just going to have to tune in every week, and we'll know what's going on. We're going to know where we're going to be. And if there's football, as you've heard us say, week in and week out, we're tailgating somewhere. But one of the things that Shasta and I have really kind of come together on and become friends over is a particular TV show. Now, I'm not a TV guy. I maybe watch 3 TV shows tops over the course of a year in particular. But I've fallen in love with, on the Paramount Network, the show Yellowstone.
Oh, yeah, buddy.
And we've had this argument. I don't know which one of us brought it to the other one's attention, but it really doesn't matter at this point. Yellowstone on Sunday nights is almost as good as football at 1:00 on Sunday. Almost. If you are not watching Yellowstone and you love what we talk about every week, sports, beer, grilling, you got country music, you have got to watch this show. It is
oh my gosh.
It's so binge worthy, it's ridiculous.
It's so good. And Kevin Costner, like, the guy can't make anything bad.
No, I've been a huge fan of his forever. Field of Dreams is one of my top 5 movies. But his character in this show, which is built around a ranch, the largest ranch in Montana, and he's the proprietor of this ranch. And it's all about the times that we're living in right now and how he tries to hold on to this ranch while the world tries to speed by. And he's so humble in his role. It's incredible to me.
Yeah, do you know that ranch that they filmed that at it belonged to the Ford family?
I did know that. Yeah, I saw it the other day. The folks at Yellowstone, the show, have been very friendly to us and retweeted a bunch of our stuff and all that good stuff. So I get to see it pretty quickly, what's coming on. And somebody actually went out and looked at the ranch, which is beautiful. I mean, if you just put the show on Sunday night and muted it, just looked at the scenery, it's worth it. But
it's amazing. Yeah.
They did a little rundown of what the place looked like, what it was really, and everything, and what the background to it. And it was fascinating to me, absolutely fascinating. And if things keep going crazy in this world, I'm moving there.
Okay, I'm going with you.
I'm telling you, we'll build a ranch big enough for 10, and we'll broadcast from there.
Yes.
As long as we can get our Patriot games and listen to good music, we'll be all right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is our PSA, public service announcement. Y'all, if you're not watching Yellowstone, 9:00 Sunday nights, you got to. Kevin Costner is amazing.
Yes, it's on the Paramount channel.
Yes, there's a couple characters. Rip is one of them. This dude's my
Cole Hauser.
Yep, Cole Hauser is great. And then Beth Hutton, the character Beth Hutton, is absolutely amazing in this show. She does a great job.
So she's played by Kelly Riley, who was also in that movie with oh my gosh, what's his name? I can't remember. She's a fantastic actress. She can do anything.
Yeah, she's really good because she's playing a girl from the Midwest, and she's from New Zealand or Australia or something.
Yeah.
When she's just being interviewed, her accent is completely different from the show. But I got to bring up one particular person because this is just how my brain works. I have a new favorite character, and it's not even close anymore. I love Tater.
Tater. she is the best.
So Tater on the show is this girl who, and if you're a fan, you're all nodding your head and laughing right now. She plays a hand on the ranch, and she's a female, and she's in a bunkhouse with a bunch of guys, and you would think, oh, that's a recipe for disaster. That's going to go horrible. They're all sleeping in there together, blah, 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 blah. She's certifiably crazy on the show, and she needs, I'm sending my buddy, because I'm friends with one of the writers of the show. I'm sending a thing that says she needs subtitles running underneath.
Oh my gosh.
What she says, because she's got such a crazy, bizarre way of accent and talking on the show. And it's supposedly this Texas something accent, which I tried to catch it, but I didn't. But it's hilarious.
It's gibberish, and she spends the whole time macking on Colby, trying to get him to like her.
And Colby's classic. I don't know if you see his Twitter stuff, but he is so funny on his Twitter.
He's terrified. He's terrified, but kind of getting interested in her.
I got news for you. I have serious issues. We all know that anybody who listens, either now or down in Texas, but I like her. I
like her too.
Whenever she put that first dip in the first time, I was like, oh, now that's a girl. The only time I ever saw a woman put a dip in, I was here in Providence, Rhode Island, and I was getting ready to go see Gretchen Wilson. And at the time, I was dating a girl who worked for the Civic Center. So I had the backstage passes and all that good stuff that comes along with it. And so I'm going to meet up with her. I forget where, but I get in the elevator, and who's there but Gretchen Wilson? So she's Gretchen Wilson, who's a country music person, for those that don't know. And
she choose.
Yeah, and she put in a dip right there in front of me. And that was the first time I'd ever seen a woman dip. And I was like, good Lord, this woman's cool.
You never saw girls dip in Texas?
Not a one.
What?
I'm surprised about that. See, like up here in the north, like I've seen like all of 10 people in my time up here dip. But when I was living down south, it was like, No,
Austin, where everybody knows I was in Austin. And Austin is more of a cultural place, I'll say. But even when I was out at one of the ranches, whether it be in Dripping Springs or wherever, I didn't see any women dipping.
That is so crazy. I knew one girl in my life that did that, and it was the craziest thing.
So have you ever tried it?
Heck no.
Really?
No. Nope, I've never dipped, and I've never smoked.
I've never smoked a single cigarette in my entire life. Both my parents died from cancer, so it's just not on my radar. But
no.
I have dipped. In fact, I'll embarrass myself, as I always do. When I was in college and playing still, I went off to boot camp, and a guy who also played, he talked me into trying my first dip. And this was in Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, in the middle of summer. It was like 100 degrees out. And we're sitting out there, and drill sergeants had this saying back in the Stone Age when I was there, smoke them if you got them.
Oh, yeah.
Joe being a Marine, he's probably heard that once or twice in his life as well.
A couple times.
So Betts, we'll just use his last name, who ended up playing football at Alabama, he said to me, you want a dip? I go, no. He goes, dude, it'll relax. Just have a dip. So I put this dip in. Now, mind you, like I said earlier, I've never smoked a cigarette in my life, have not had tobacco in my body in any fashion whatsoever. It's 100 degrees out.
Oh, no.
I put this thing in. We're sitting there in the sun, and I'm sitting up on these metal bleacher seats while the drill instructor is speaking to us. and the tobacco hits me.
So I got to ask, was it a beginner's pinch, or did he screw you over and give you like a lip?
I would say it was somewhere in between a lip and a beginner's.
Oof.
And it was skull.
No.
Yeah. And so long story short, if I threw up, I was screwed. Drill sergeant was going to have me. So I swallowed this crap.
You got it out.
Oh,
You got it
No.
it was the worst thing
You
ever.
swallowed it.
Oh, I was so sick.
Well, no wonder you don't smoke or dip. I mean,
Yeah.
Christ, after that.
Well, no. So now the story gets better.
Oh, boy.
So now I kind of dig it, despite that first experience. And I'm still dipping by the time I go off to college to play. And so I would dip during the game, no big deal.
Wait, you kept doing it after that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You're a glutton for punishment.
No, I'm just not a smart man. So I started dipping regularly with football, and I started to get a little tiny, like, I'll call it a pocket or a hole. And I had a come to Jesus meeting with myself one night, and I said, I got to stop doing this. And I did. So I went to practice like 2 or 3 days, but anybody who's dipped before or smoked for that matter, they know you get kind of that fixation with it. It's not necessarily the actual tobacco, it's the fixation. So I started taking Hubba Bubba bubble gum and black licorice, because that had that same kind of taste to it, and putting it in my mouth and holding it. So I remember we went to Lehigh to play Lehigh, and it was the first time I was going to try it in a game. So I put this stuff in. We're whipping them. Game's going great. It's like halfway through the second quarter, and people on my own team are looking at me like, what is wrong with you? And I have no idea. And I'm telling you, the nose tackle for Lehigh was afraid of me, and I couldn't figure out why. I was like, because I played center. I'm like, what is going on? So my buddy pulls me over to the side, who played fullback after I moved from that position. He goes, dude, you have black all over your face. What is all over your face? So every time I drooled, the black licorice was making this big round circle from my nose to my chin.
No.
Yeah. So I did it for the rest of the 4 years because it just messed with me.
Because it worked.
Bad. So
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
somehow we go from tater to me and black licorice and Hubba Bubba. I don't know, but that's the extent. After that, I was all done. No more Hubba Bubba, no dipping, none of that other stuff. And if my daughters, which, by the way, it's one of my daughter's birthdays today, are listening, I just made that story up. It's not real.
I guarantee your daughters are not dipping in college.
No, but I don't want them near anything. So this is my not disclosing. How's that sound?
There you go.
So are you going to watch baseball and basketball in the next couple of weeks?
Me or Joe?
You.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to try to watch some of it. I think I'm kind of confused as to how they're televising it, because I keep seeing people say that they're having a hard time finding it. So is there what's going on with how they're showing it?
TNT and TBS paid a boatload of money. They've got it. I think ESPN has it as well.
Oh, okay.
You're gonna have no trouble finding basketball.
Okay, good.
But literally, other than Yellowstone, which we've spent 10 minutes talking about tonight, I haven't turned the TV on, because every time I do, it's this crap. I just can't deal with it. So
I know.
decided that every night, for instance, 2 nights ago, I watched the practice game with the Toronto Blue Jays and the Red Sox. No fans in the stadium. And then for like the first 2 innings, the sound wasn't working, so there were no announcers.
Weird.
It was just beyond me weird. Like, I didn't know how to deal with it.
It's like watching sports in the apocalypse.
Exactly. And that's a perfect timing right there to kind of wrap up sports for the day. We got to talk about something. This is a tough year, 2020, for everything. It started with Kobe passing, which I loved Kobe Bryant.
Who
As
doesn't?
a person, I hated him as a player because I'm a Celtics fan. But as a person, I thought he was awesome. I thought his second act, for lack of a better way to put it, and his respect for women and his daughters and, being a girl dad and all that stuff was amazing. That started it. Then we have all this hot mess with COVID and Corona and, all this stuff. Then we have Black Lives Matter. On a personal note, I find out I have to have yet another knee surgery. I get up this morning and I'm thinking to myself, what else could happen? I look at my phone and Mookie Betts signs a deal for 13 years for $350 million to remain a Dodger.
Jeez, that's just a crazy amount of money.
It is, and he's probably worth it. But we lost Brady and Mookie in his same year. I mean,
Yep,
it's
and
insane.
yeah, he's locked in now.
I want to put Jason Tatum from the Celtics in a box and lock it so he can't go anywhere.
And smart.
Absolutely, and smart. But I'm a big fan of Tatum. I just like how he holds himself. And I think he's honestly one of the top 5 players in the NBA right now.
He's so good.
Yeah, he's so much fun to watch. He's so committed. That whole team went through that Kyrie Irving bull crap, which he brought to Brooklyn. And then he was trying to get these players not to play, even though he couldn't play because he was hurt. Shut up, Kyrie Irving. Please, shut up. We don't want to hear from you anymore. You're on the Brooklyn Nets. Period.
It's funny how players keep talking even when they're gone, right?
Oh, yeah, and trying to tell LeBron we shouldn't play basketball. Be quiet.
Jeez.
Can you just imagine what LeBron said? I'm trying to win another championship here with the Lakers. Shut up and go heal. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Anyway, I digress. So now that I've worked up a complete fervor about Kyrie Irving, which I never thought was going to happen, but thank God he's gone, I think we've got the Brooklyn Nets enough between the big trade where Garnett and everybody went down there, and that was a bust for them, and we got all those picks, which one of them includes Tatum, and now Kyrie Irving. I think I almost feel bad for them. Almost. But
I wouldn't.
it brings me to our next subject, and we've went far too long tonight not talking about this whole new beer that we came across. It had one run. And it sold out like immediately. And it's a sour beer. Chest, I don't know if you've ever had a sour beer.
I haven't had one. I haven't tried a sour beer, but I feel like I would like it because I don't know. I'm just always drawn to anything that's kind of bitter sour like that.
And you very well may like it. And I'm going to tell you that my life prior to popping one of these open was I don't like sour beer. Mm-hmm. But when you do a beer called Traderade and put it in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers colors with a swashbuckling, and I know I said that wrong, I'm sorry, pirate of sorts on the front. Is that a parrot pirate?
It's a chicken.
Okay. Oh, it's a chicken. And
I think it's a chicken.
Yeah. So, and it's based on the fact that old people retire in Florida and all that stuff. It's the best Brady, Gronkowski, harmless joke there is. Nobody's saying they're traitors. It's just funny.
It's just fun, yeah.
So I had to go out and get some, and they're fortunately about a mile away, and they're great folks. Andrew's always over there. My joke about Smug is they don't have a big outdoor area or tap room or anything like that. So when you go to pick up your beer because of social distancing, it feels like you're back in Prohibition. You know, I text them 474747 and they bring my beer to the door. Well, it's
secret like back alley deals.
And they're in a big old warehouse because that's what it feels like. It's like a back alley deal. And I feel like I'm knocking like a code. Instead, it's texting 474747 and they bring your stuff out. And the last 2 times I've been there, Andrew has been the one that brought the stuff out to me, not Ron or the other owners. Andrew kind of is a jack of all trades over there and a really good guy. And he brought this out to me along with a T-shirt, which we're going to give away, by the way. So check your social media stuff. We're going to give this T-shirt away this week. How cool would it be to have this Traderade T-shirts if you lived, say, in Boston and didn't know this beer existed, or New Hampshire or Maine for that matter. So we're going to give that away this week. But we brought it back, and I brought it back solely on the fact of the marketing that went into it and the name. I don't know if y'all remember, we had on another beer we tested from Smug. What was it? I guess about 3 weeks ago.
Just about, yeah.
Yeah. And it said, and the name of it was
it Buy Me or Make Me a Bicycle Clown?
Yeah, it was Make Me a Bicycle Clown, which is a line from Wedding Crashers. When
Oh my God, I love that movie.
Yeah, when Vince Vaughn is building the balloons to woo the girl.
Yeah.
And this kid comes up, and everybody's saying, I'll have a dog, I'll have a cat, like these simple things. And he's making these great ones. And then this bratty little kid comes up and says, I want a bicycle. And Vince Vaughn's character says, well, how about this? He goes, look, build me a clown. I mean, build me a bicycle clown. It's like one of the greatest movies.
I've seen that movie 100 times.
No doubt. I've watched it more times than I want to admit to on any public device. But the first beer I tried from these guys was called that, Build Me a Bicycle Clown. So they do a great job with that. So I had to try the sour. Well, I tried it and I loved it. And I called Joe immediately and I said, beer guy, we've got to do this on the show. So I brought some Traderade in, and he's going to crack one of those open in about the next 6 seconds.
And get it nice and close to the mic to. There we go. I guess it's a nice change of pace, because normally I bring the beer, so it's like I'm getting treated to the Traderade, as you will.
So I brought beer and burgers tonight.
And burgers.
Yes.
Oh my!
Joe is winning all the way around today.
I'll take it when I can get it, you know?
Yep. So I'm very anxious to see what he thinks, and he always tells the truth. So. And
I got to say, so unlike you, I am a little bit of a sour guy. I drink a lot of, you know, I love my standard, you know, like your Narragansett or your, you know, literally anything.
Bud Light on a Friday night.
Your Bud Light on a Friday night. It could be your High Life.
I got to do Bud Light Platinum, though, because regular Bud Light.
Platinums, I will say,
is way too much work.
For the shitty beers, Platinum is one of the ways to go.
No doubt about it. So anyway,
let's get to the Traderade. Oof. From that first sip, it is sour. And I mean like mouth-puckeringly sour. It's a summer beer.
That's perfect. You're right. It's a sipping summer beer.
It is a sipper.
Right.
I will say, you're not putting this beer away.
Right.
Like, you know, like a Budweiser.
So when I was doing a lot of work in Florida,
Wait, so we're not going to listen to Joe shotgun that beer then?
No, that's not shotgun beer right there.
Oh, no. I got to drive eventually.
Yeah, it's a 7% alcohol, and we're going to get back to it in a minute here. But it's got some key lime in it that I'm a huge key lime pie person, and I'm not a dessert person at all. In fact, when Ben & Jerry's went crazy in the last couple of weeks, that was it, because that was the only thing I kind of sort of liked other than key lime pie. So this has a key lime hint to it as well as a sea salt. So it's really got that Florida taste to it.
But it's subtle. That's what I like about it, is it's, you know, the bitterness or the sourness comes up front and whacks you. But then as it like sits on your palate, you get that sea salt and key lime, and it's
nice there, isn't it?
And it makes you crave another sip, but not a chug.
Not a chug, right. It's not a chugging beer. In fact, yesterday was the bad day where I found out I had to have knee surgery. So I said to myself, that's it. I'm hitting the magic dust. And all I had left in the refrigerator was 2 Narragansetts and all the Smug beer that we needed for the show. But I said, that's fine. I'm going to hit this Smug. If I got to run back over there and get it, those guys will hook me up. I had 3 of them. That's tops. 3 of those babies is tops. Because it's so tart. it brought me back to my childhood, actually. I felt like I put a sweet tart in my mouth.
Oh,
Remember that candy? Yeah. The only difference was right when it was done, it was almost like you had a bite of key lime pie that was really good. So
okay, well, we need to find a way so I can try it because all of it sounds like my jam.
I'm going to send you a 4-pack through the mail, whatever legal way we're allowed to do that. I have to check on that.
And they have a strawberry one too that I saw that sounds really good.
I've not tried the strawberry one. And listen, Joe and I are both traditional beer guys. You know, I don't need all kinds of flavoring. Give me that double IPA or a Pilsner or a lager. But I'm enjoying experimenting with this stuff. And when I got this, I was very hesitant. I was like, well, I don't know, but it so fits the show. We got to do it. Now, I mean, I've been raving about it. I don't know, for folks that are following us on Instagram and all that other good stuff. We must have put out about 10 posts about it today. That's how much I love this stuff. Now, their other stuff, I don't know. What's your favorite?
So my favorite that I've had from them so far, and this may be a surprise, it's the Smug Session.
I love it. First one I had was Smug Session.
And it's, you know...
I take it back. It was the second one I had.
I think session beers are really picking up, especially this time of year, because you want to have a couple of them. You don't want necessarily that 9% big boy that's going to kick you on your ass the first round.
Right.
And it's just smooth. It's hop forward. But it's so crushable.
Boat beer. You and I talk about it all the time. Boat beer.
The only thing is, I don't know if they do them in the 12-ounce cans because I've only seen them in 16s. But if they did it in 12-ounce cans, you want to talk about a crushable boat beer.
I got to go off the limit here a little bit. I'm off the reservation. I know I'm off the reservation. Shasta, bear with me. Last weekend, I went to the local Packy. Everything was closed. I needed beer. Go in. I get Sam Adams Porch Rocker. Have you had this?
Oh, I've had it.
Oh, man, that stuff is talk about crushable.
So Sam, for one of the bigger guys, I know some people in the craft beer will give Sam Adams guff because they've gotten too big or whatever, but they know how to put out consistent beer.
And you know what? They've gotten big, and they didn't sell off to Budweiser or to Coors or to any of those guys. They're big on their own, and now they're putting money back into other breweries. So I'm all about what Mr. Cook does there with that beer, and I'll support him until I'm done. It was the second craft beer I ever had. Actually, it would be third if we consider Narragansett, which we're going to talk about a lot next week, a craft beer. Otherwise, it's Shipyard, and we've all heard the story of me and Smashed Pumpkin. But I'll tell you this. They put out great beer. Somebody else who's kind of a beer guy like me had some Sam Summer over the weekend and called me up and said, that stuff, and it's hovering right there at 6%, and it tastes great. It's an awesome beer. Shasta, that's one you got to try. I guarantee you love it.
So is that like, does it taste like Blue Moon?
Let's not even say those words in the same breath.
We'll call it
yeah,
sorry.
We'll call it the same vein, but like he literally a couple of years ago, the owner of Sam Adams flew to test the lemons personally that he was going to use for this. And now that could be wife's tale or whatever, but that kind of shows what they put into what they do. I've always been okay with the summer ales. I tried this summer ale, and Sam Summer this year is the best I've had. And I think you...
Well, that I can get here, so I can try that.
Right. You know, Corona puts lemon in their beers for two reasons. One, to hide the taste. And two, it started in Mexico to keep the bugs from getting in their beer.
Ew.
Those are both facts. This lemon in this beer, this citrusy taste is phenomenal. I think you'll love it. But we'll still get you some Smug Brewing Traderade for sure. And a t-shirt.
Yeah. Great. I would love to try that.
Absolutely. So we've been talking a good amount of beer, but I want to kind of segue into a beer that is near and dear to both Joe and I's heart because they're in our backyard here, but also because the story about them is just so intertwined with who we are and what we do here at the show. Long story short, there's a beer called Narragansett. Narragansett beer was started way, way, way back before we were walking this earth. And it had a really good run. It was the first beer to sponsor a baseball team, not the Boston Red Sox, although they eventually did, but the Boston Braves. That's how far they go back. In the movie Jaws, Quinn, the gnarly old character, if you look closely, he's drinking a Narragansett beer there. So I like to think it was like the first product placement with Narragansett. And their beer is great. It's repeatable. You know it's going to be good when you get it. It's funny, when I was in Texas, you could buy this stuff here for $6 for a 6-pack of Tall Boys.
Oh, yeah.
I was in Texas and I walked into this craft beer store, and lo and behold, there's Narragansett in Austin, Texas, on the shelves of this place. $12.
Holy crap! They treated it like an import.
Absolutely. And it blew out. The guy couldn't keep it in stock. So I was talking to Joe, and we started talking about, well, we really haven't done anything on a blonde beer.
No.
And we needed to. And then I was thinking more, and I go, well, Narragansett's got that fresh catch. Let's try that out. So with Shark Week coming up August 9th on Discovery Channel, right? And Quinn in the movie Jaws crushing a Narragansett beer. We just felt like, what better to do next week than the full line of Narragansett beers. They've got an amazing shandy with Dells. If you're not from here, you don't know about it.
Too.
Yeah.
You've got a chance to try that.
I have not tried it.
Fantastic.
There's the Fresh Catch, which is, that blonde we were talking about. Their Narragansett beer. Maybe you want to speak to that beer a little bit.
I mean, so Narragansett Lager specifically was one of the first domestics that I really got into. It was like High Life and Gansett were like my two go-tos. And
you could tell Joe was in the military because the two beers he listed were very cheap at that point.
Oh, absolutely. The best bang for your buck, and like you said before, man, it's consistency.
I swear to you, I love all the beers we try. It's not just noise, but sometimes on a Saturday, I just want to put a 6-pack in the freezer, get it as cold as possible, and crush some Narragansetts. It's just who I am.
So one of my guys that I work with, he always used to use the term "beer that tastes like beer" when he would refer to it.
Absolutely.
And I honestly think that's like one of the best ways to describe it. It's a beer that's not pretending to be something else. It's not, don't get me wrong, love the added flavors and fruits and hops and stuff like that. But with Gansett Lager, it's beer.
It is what it is.
It is exactly what it is.
I can't wait to talk to Mark over there, and I know we're going to be talking to a few people over there, thanks to our friends at Craft Rhode Island. If you have not seen that documentary on craft beer here in Rhode Island, don't go to jail, don't pass go, don't collect $200, don't do any of that Monopoly stuff. Go to your Amazon, Cox, whatever, Verizon, whatever you got, and watch that movie. It's fascinating, and it also has Dan Copen, so our Patriot friends, he owns Line Cider Beer here it's like on the Warwick. It's in Rhode Island, bottom line, and where he lives now and coaches. And it's great beer and it's great storytelling. We're hoping to have them all here in a room together and just have a beer talk with all of them because the stories are unbelievable. I want to ask them, how much has the recipe changed for the original Narragansett to Narragansett today? That's my one question.
See, I know that's one I've always been curious about too, because my grandfather used to talk about, because when he saw me drinking Narragansett, he was like, how can you drink that crap? Because back when he was drinking Narragansett, it wasn't even the same thing.
So the recipe's changed, obviously, then. Because,
and in my opinion, for the better, he wouldn't even touch the stuff. So if it goes to show you the leaps and bounds they've taken.
So that'll answer that question. Boy, that just deflates that balloon. I was excited for him to say, it's the same thing since, like Heinz ketchup. It's been the same recipe forever, but it isn't.
Crazy that it's been around that long.
Yeah, it for you, because you're out there and don't know, it went away for a good 20 years.
Yeah.
And Mark over there brought it back. I think Mark was in the flavored water drinks or something like that. Nectars, Nantucket Nectars.
Yep.
and saw the opening here for what was going on with the Kraft Dinner Sea, and truly had some foresight and jumped back in right before the wave started, in my opinion, maybe even a minute too early, and now is just riding the crest.
Nice.
And it's such a great story. I love a success story like that, where some guy in his garage who has a great job, making a great paycheck, says, I'm going to go do this. This is what America was built on, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
And I love that he did it. I love to support his beer for those exact reasons. It's so cool.
You want to hear my claim to fame regarding beer? My mother, her family were the original founders of Schlitz beer.
No crap.
Yeah. Do I have any of that money? No, but that's our little claim to fame. My mother was born and raised in Würzburg, Germany, and her family lineage were the originals.
We used to buy, when I was, again, if my daughters are listening, this is just storytelling. When I was not old enough to drink yet, in high school, we used to have those days when you went, I think you were your senior year of high school, where everybody else had to take those predictive tests. Well,
yeah.
We decided that those 3 days where we didn't have to go into school should be parties before we went to class, which ended up being a debacle and a story for another day. But we were hiding Schlitz because it was the only thing we could afford in the bushes of this kid Jay's house for the party. I
feel like everybody has the same Schlitz stories. It was the shitty beer that everybody could afford.
But the best part of this story is, so we stashed like 4 cases of this stuff, which back then probably cost $3.07. And his father's out there and finds it.
Oh.
So he doesn't tell him he found it. He just takes it and puts it in his basement. We get there the next day. There's no beer. And when Jay so we obviously overcame that, and we'll tell that story another day. But when Jay got home that night, the 4 cases were sitting on the living room floor of Jay's house, and his father said to him, my birthday's not for like 3 months. I can't believe you got me. This is so nice of you. And that's how Jay stayed out of trouble with his mom. So that's
he's like, happy birthday.
Yeah, whenever anybody says Schlitz beer, that's the first thing that pops into my head is that crazy story.
That's so funny.
Okay. We've really went on a roll here tonight, didn't we?
Been all over the map.
We had burgers. Sorry, Shasta. We had smug beer. Loved it. As always, different from what we're used to. We teed it up, Narragansett. Next show is going to be a big Narragansett show. We talked a little football. We talked a little bit about what's going on in the world. The last thing I want to touch on is that I made the burgers with all seasoning from Goya tonight. Goya, and I don't want to be political, but I just want to say it like it is, somehow got caught in the crosshairs of politics over the last few weeks, and I just can't have that. I don't feel like somebody's business deserves that unless they've done something to deserve it. So I'm supporting Goya Foods. So we used Goya sea salt, bourbon flavoring, you name it, hot sauce tonight to make our burgers. So I want to say thank you to them for being out there. We picked it up at Armando's, which is a meat market here that has a whole row of their stuff. And I can't wait to try even more of it. So I'm excited. But it's been fun tonight, guys. I've had a great time today. So
it has. It's been awesome.
Let's plan on doing it again next Thursday so that everybody can listen to it on Monday. Tune into social media. Everybody, as we go on here, it's getting bigger and bigger for us. Thank you to all of you. Thanks for listening in. Every week we've grown exponentially. We're hoping for about 2,500 folks to listen to our show this week. That's our goal. And we look forward to talking Narragansett beer and more about football next week. Peace out. That's it, Shasta.
Great. Okay. Bye, you guys.
How'd you feel?
Good. That was fun.
I think you did great.
Now I'm thinking that I'm just hungry and thirsty and kind of feel left out a little bit.
You were here, but I think it'd be cold if Grubhub brought it to you.
Yeah. Most definitely.
I'll talk to you tomorrow, kid.
All right. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in. We love having you as part of our Tailgate family. Until next time, follow us on Instagram and Twitter @FromTheTailgate. Or check out all kinds of cool stuff on our website, from grilling tips to music playlists, sports updates, and more. All at FromTheTailgate.com.